All that doesn't make no nice. All that
Hi, this is Mahesh Ravi, and in this video, we're going to talk about a very important and underestimated topic, stylescapes and moodboards. I have been talking to a lot of design students, and I have realized that not many actually know the difference between a stylescape and a mood board. More than students, a lot of professionals actually don't know the difference between a mood board and a stylescape. We're going to take a look at what the differences are, when to use what, and what actually creates or what is required to create a stylescape. So let's get straight into it. Let's take a look at what is a mood board first. I hope you have heard this term a lot. And chances are that you might not be using it correctly. So the first thing that you need to understand here is the objective of a mood board. What is it used for? So it's basically a collection of your inspirations, preferably from curated design sources. Could be blogs, repositories, portfolios. The reason why it is important to actually take these inspirations from curated sources is that you know for sure, you can be confident that you are taking good designs. So if you just go to Google and search for designs, or if you just randomly look at Pinterest and pick design from there, or if you let's say if you go to Behance and look at portfolios, you should actually think that just like you, students from around the world will also be uploading work there, and you might be seeing those works, which is not bad. But what I'm saying is that when you're getting inspired, you should know that you're getting inspired from the best stuff out there. So make sure that you're actually collecting these from curated design blogs. So it's a collection of your inspirations. Now, this is an example of a mood board. You can actually see there are designs which are not created by us, but it's a selection, a collective of designs that we collected from different sources by different designers. We are just studying them, right? We have collected them into one canvas. We are looking at them. We are taking notes, right? So it's just like reading a book. So here is the thing. What is the use of a mood board? Why are we using it? We need to study design trends, right? So when we are actually looking at mood boards, other people's designs, we get to know a lot of popular design trends. It's very important. We need to get inspired from design treatments, how typography is treated in a design. What is the spacing that is given to that typeface? What is the width of that typeface? What is the height of that typeface? What is it paired with? What color works with what background? What image actually works with the rest of the design elements in there? These are called treatments. How pairing is actually done in design. So we are not looking for individual elements. I've seen a lot of mood boards which showcases color palettes just like that, or maybe typography just like the font name and all that in a mood board. This is not mood boards. You're just hunting for assets there. You're just collecting what you want to use in your design. That's not mood boarding. You're not learning anything from it. You're with your existing knowledge, you're going there, you're collecting colors, you're collecting typefaces, you're collecting shapes or icons, you're arranging it there. This is called asset foraging. You're just hunting for assets. You're not learning anything in that process. But mood board is for your learning. The last thing here is to benchmark the quality of your work. When you have assembled work from good designers, from curated sources, when you are designing, your mind will push you to match the quality there. Whatever you have in your mood board, you have to raise your level, your quality to match that level, because you got inspired from that. So benchmarking the quality of your work is one other use of having a mood board with you. So this is the main uses of a mood board. But these are not the uses of a mood board. Not to show your color, type, shape choices, right? So you're not going to take color palettes or typography names and things like that and put it on your mood board. Just plain images that you want to use in your design. Don't add this to your mood board. That's asset foraging. We are not doing that. We are also not going to hunt for templates to use in your design, right? So don't look for templates. Another thing is we are not trying to study content of a design. So when we are looking for, let's say we are creating a brochure for a restaurant, it's not a good idea to go to Pinterest and search for restaurant brochures, right? Because that is content study. We are not trying to, we can actually get inspired from a poster design. We can, it doesn't matter what medium that we are designing for, you can actually get inspired about design treatment from pretty much anything out there. So when you are specifically looking for the content that you are working for, you will be cycling in a very, very, very small loop, right? Which is not good for your design. It will not push you beyond that. You will not be seeing what actually is needed. You are actually looking for content there. So don't do that. This is not why we use a mood board. Now, another main thing here is that don't use your mood boards to pitch your design concepts to your client. This is not the use of a mood board, right? The name says it, mood board, right? To bring you up to the mood to design something. So your mood board is very personal to you. You don't have to show this to anybody. Don't put it in your design project documentation. Don't show it to your client. Never do that. This is a learning tool for yourself. Your inspirations is like reading a book. You don't tell somebody that what books you are reading when you're writing something, because you are inspired from that. You don't show your, this is something that Disney actually said, hide your inspirations, right? So that people don't actually compare your work to your inspirations, which might actually be bad for you. If you show the mood board to a client that you collected some awesome designs, you are actually giving them a comparison point right now. They can actually compare what you are producing later to the works in the mood board. That might actually be not so great for you, right? So don't use that. Let's get into stylescapes. This is very important and very, very, very relevant at this point of time, right? I have been talking about stylescapes long back, before it actually became popular. So right now I can see, and when I was actually talking about it, I was struggling to find examples of stylescapes anywhere. There was only one video by Christo which actually spoke about stylescapes. But right now I can see a lot of content which is coming based on stylescapes. And I know the popularity is actually coming up. So what is a stylescape? So a stylescape is a document designed by you to pitch your design strategy. So instead of a mood board, you are actually using this tool to present your design style to a client. This is what you use. So let's try. Let's take a look at how it looks like. So if you look at this image, it's a collection of 4 different stylescapes which are pitched to the same brand. So if you look at these images, the brand is called Digital Factory, and you can see 4 different treatments which are pitched to the brand. The top one seems a little contemporary, then comes something else which is a little corporate looking. Then there is the third one which is using a lot of retro elements in the theme, and there is the last one which uses a fun element of engagement in the whole style. There are different themes that the designer went with each of these stylescapes, and they're pitching it to the company saying that which one talks to you, right? Now, one thing that you need to understand here is that these are not collections of inspirations, right? These are something that you created using stock images, using the actual colors that you want to use in your design, and you are presenting it to the client. So the client looks at this design, they can choose whatever approach actually works for you, and you can take the project later, right, from there. So Stylescape, the use of Stylescape is that you can pitch your design concept to anybody using a Stylescape because it's your work. You can showcase options for colors, types, and shapes, elements that you're using, the fabric or texture, whatever you want to show to the client, you can actually put that into a stylescape. So in short, I would say that you get inspired from your mood board and build a stylescape. So you can create a mood board for a project that you're not going to share it with anybody. You are going to build a stylescape based on that, and that stylescape goes out to people, right? So now let's take a look at the anatomy of a stylescape. What is actually there in a stylescape? So usually stylescapes are pitched in three options, right? There'll be option number one, there'll be option number two, there'll be option number three. Usually it goes like that. So they can choose one from there. The reason, and another very interesting reason, is that you might have noticed that every stylescape is a horizontal document, a horizontally wide document. The reason for that is that the designer doesn't want to employ hierarchy of content into the stylescape. When somebody gives a long document, a vertical document, you have to look from top to bottom in a particular order, right? You will be scanning it from top to bottom. But when you are handing over a document which is wide like this, they can hold it with two hands, and everything is actually going into their mind at the same time, right? So there is no disparity. If they can always see how things work together without moving their eye so much. It's a very subtle detail, but it's very clever, right? So that's why it is all horizontal. Now let's take a look at what is actually there in a stylescape. I'm just going to take one out of this and I will show you what are going to be there. So you're going to show your identity treatment. Identity is your logo of the brand, right? How that is going to be treated. So it could be via typography or shapes or anything, or different variations of your logo. You're going to show it in your stylescape. You can show the image styles, right? What kind of images that are you going to use in this particular style? The composition, the colors of the images, and things like that. You can show your typography, heading, subheading, how pairing of typefaces will work. All of that is going to be there. You can show your color scheme. These are the colors that is going to define the brand. You can show mockups on practical application of these brand languages, to give the client a quick idea that, okay, this is how this will look in the real world. You can show visual pairings, so how a color will work with the typography, how an image will work with the typography, what is the treatment that you are going to plan and give it to that particular pairing. You can show your iconography, how shapes are going to work, larger, smaller shapes, icons, whatever it is, illustrations. So this basically is what you're supposed to show in a stylescape. So if you have this idea, you can quickly create a template and you can say that, okay, this is where all things are going to go. And I'm going to put all of this together, stylescape, just like that, right? So I hope this makes sense to you. When a stylescape is presented, when they look at these content, they are going to understand that this is what you are providing. It is going to be a very honest document. When you're providing a mood board, you're actually showing somebody else's work, and even you will not be able to actually match up to that quality if your mood board is from curated sources at times. So you cannot guarantee that. But this is your work. You are confident in pitching that this is something that I can do. These are three variations that I can present to you. So I hope this clears the confusion for a lot of my students, and try to create a stylescape for every project that you're doing. Mood board is for you, but try to make it. Even you're doing a book cover, create a stylescape first. There is absolutely no goal for a stylescape. You can put whatever content that you want. The only goal is to actually convince a client. There is nothing else. There is no call to action in a mood board, in a stylescape. So try doing this and let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Bye-bye.